Hello, everyone. Welcome to the second episode of Moments. My name is Desola,
And I'm Ryy.
and we are so excited for today's episode because today we are talking about age pressures. Now, let me tell you something. You guys all know about these age pressures nowadays. Now, I don't know. Everyone has their own life, but I know that age pressures are something that is really getting to people in the social media world.
Yes, definitely. It's getting to, we're not in that generation of the social media of when it, popped off, but just to see people who, are at that young age and how it's really like tearing them down mentally just based off what they see and what society is portraying. It's really sad. And it's one of those things like, what can we do to like help these young people out to let them know this is not reality, So this is
By the way,
definitely
I'm young.
important.
Just so you guys know, I am young. I'm a part of that
Woo!
social media.
Tried it.
I'm a part of that social media generation. So I'm,
You
I'm
trying to call us
27.
old,
So
Dorian?
just saying. But anyway, so we have a special guest today. We have Dorian here. Dorian, how are you?
What's good? What's good? Catching the vibes, enjoying this beautiful Friday. I'm good. How about you?
Okay.
We're wonderful. I like that she said catching the
Amazing.
vibes, enjoying this beautiful. Friday. It was Friday.
It
Oh, it
is
is
It's
Friday,
Friday.
Friday.
huh?
Yes, it's
Yes.
Friday. Good
Yes.
Friday.
Okay.
Come
There
on,
you go.
good Friday every Friday. We don't need a holiday for that.
Right.
So Dorian is calling in from LA,
Yes,
correct?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I also live in LA. So
Oh,
let
nice.
me just say, when you live in LA, maybe it depends on where you live, who you're around, but LA is one of those places where the age pressures can definitely get to you because LA, you see a lot of things. You see a lot of people who are showing things that maybe they really have or don't have, whatever the case may be. So Dorian, please let us know your experience with these age pressures.
Well, one thing I say, I'm not shy about letting everybody know my age. I don't really feel like age has really ever been a concept to me. It's all about like I came on just with good vibes, good energy. I've always lived just with my experiences. I feel like your experiences and just being educated kind of put you in that mind frame. It's just like, okay,
Right.
I might not have it all figured out. I might not have it all figured out, but just me being educated and knowing that I got a strong state of mind helps guide me through. Just especially like you said, living in LA, just I've been a stand-in, I've been on set, I've been around these beautiful people, and it's like, well, damn, like what am I doing? Hold on, I'm tripping. Like I don't look like that. My body doesn't look like that.
Right.
Just being strong, intelligent, and having as far as like having older people around me that help guide me to be like, you know what, you are strong, you are beautiful. You don't gotta have, what all these other people may think they're portraying. Like you may be beautiful and all that on the outside, but we don't really know what goes on behind closed doors. And that's what always kind of humbled me about living out here in like, especially Los Angeles. Like it may look like, okay, you got this fancy car, you got this Bugatti, but it's like, okay, bro, like you may have this rented Bugatti, but like your credit's like hella fucked up.
Rented,
Rented,
thank
right.
you.
Rented, yes, yes is the key word.
Not even leasing it. You're renting. So it's
Right,
like
right.
all these false state of minds and just
False narratives.
false narratives. It's
Mm-hmm.
false narratives. And that always makes me humble myself. Like, okay, like I'm really blessed. Like I'm in a house right now. Like
Yes, for
you
the
know what I'm saying?
house.
Like I'm in
Yes.
a house. Like I really worked hard for that. I really grinded for that. Like
Right.
I really had to get ugly for that sometimes. And it's like I was one of those people, and not to say that I don't feel age pressure. I feel that a lot, but I feel like just the fact that I'm educated and I know where I come from and where I'm going, it kind of takes that pressure off of me.
Right, right.
But it's like that's not like that for millennials. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and the thing is, I hate to say that because I'm a millennial. But
Right.
it's like my parents are baby boomers. Baby boomers were born from 1946 to what 1964.
Mm-hmm,
So it's
mm-hmm.
like they had a trade. They had to really get out here and struggle. They really had to go hard. So, having those good backgrounds and those people behind me kind of help take that pressure off. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
But
Sorry, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off,
no,
but
go ahead.
where was a point where you actually felt the pressure of society where you had to take like a step back? Like what occurred or what happened in your life where you were like, damn, like I'm feeling the pressure to have to, just for example, to be married or to have a kid or to do this or to that. Like what actually occurred in your life where you felt that you had to have everything together at a certain age? And if that is the case, what age did you, feel that?
Right now, getting ready to turn 30. I'm turning
Right.
30 in 3 months. I
She
turned
said
30 in
now.
July, like right now. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? I
right.
talk about it. I literally was just talking about this like with my boyfriend and one of his friends, like just feeling like that little anxiety of like,
Mhm.
okay, like I think about my mom, my
Mhm.
parents. Prime example. My parents were on. I was their. I'm their third child. My mom was pregnant with my brother when they got married. She was 20, what, 25, and then she had me at 27. So it's like,
Right.
damn, like, okay, my mom got 3 kids. She's married. She has a house. She
Right,
has a
right.
career. She has 3 kids. And I'm like, oh shit, I don't have none of that. Like, I mean, I have a family that loves me, but it's like, even just from my parents like, well, damn, like you ready to be 30. Like, they're not pressing for grandkids, but it's like, what you doing? Like, just those subtle little hints, like, well, damn, like you 30 and you just, you over
But
here
people
cool.
don't but people don't even think about that. It sounds like your pressure just comes from, from home and from your parents and from your
Yeah,
role models.
no,
So that can also be a positive thing, that at least your age pressures isn't coming from society. So
nah.
people don't realize too, it can come from the people around you. And even though they're not pressing you for grandkids and for these things, but just what you've seen your parents accomplish,
Mhm.
you kind of feel like you have to maybe do the same. You know what I'm saying?
No, facts. And we're already surrounded by images of our peers, as far as like just Instagram. I feel bad for like what is it, generation Y, what are X, Y? So at Y, I
Right,
think Y
right,
is like from like 2000 or no, 97 to like 2015. Like they're like from ages like what, 6 to 24 right now. So it's like
right.
just okay, people living their best lives and it's all natural and you naturally compare yourself to that and that's not real life. So I feel like
Right.
I'm
Instagram has a big, like social media in the whole has a big,
I'm
it's
glad you
part of
brought
that.
that up. I'm so glad you brought that up because so the idea for this episode in general came from social media. I was talking about it because
Hmm.
age pressures are nothing new. There's always been age pressures, but the difference is when our parents, like for example, because all of our parents are probably similar ages, when our
Yeah,
parents were
you didn't
younger,
see it.
like yeah, they have age pressures, but you don't see what other people are doing. So like
Right.
so it
Hmm.
doesn't matter. Like it's kind of like Mariah and I, we went to college together, right? After that, if we went to college together in 1970, we may not have seen each other for 5 years. We don't know
You
what's
don't
going
know
on with each
what's
Right,
other.
going on. So it's
right.
You know
not
what I
like you
mean? So
compare yourself.
yeah, so you're
Yes.
not sitting there worried about what someone else is doing. But nowadays, I feel like people who are really into it and really pay attention to social media, it really probably like stresses them out. And
Hmm.
also, I think people forget because Mariah and I were having a conversation about this episode. We're like, should we have people on who are younger? Should we have people on who are our age?
Mhm.
And I was even telling Mariah, I feel like even teenagers at this time probably have age pressure because nowadays teenagers are different. They're teenagers who are literally millionaires because social media. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
or they have a million followers on Instagram. Like when I was in high school, Instagram was a thing, but no one used Instagram. Like it was not
It was
popular.
fresh. It was fresh.
So
You
no
had to
one
have
cared.
an iPhone. Did you
Yeah,
have a phone? Did you have
ex-
that? That's
Mhm.
another pressure. Like,
exactly.
damn, I didn't even have access to that.
Exactly. So now it's just really different now,
Hmm.
But I think age pressures are, like Mariah said, it can be a bad thing for a lot of the time, but also you can use it as motivation. So it just depends what kind of person you are, because
Yeah.
some people look at Instagram and compare themselves. For me, I don't compare myself to anybody. I'm more of like it motivates me sometimes, like, oh, you know what, like I didn't really need to be on my stuff like that, but
Yeah.
not in a negative way,
Yeah. Hmm. But
Yeah, but
everybody
I think
see it like that. It's hard because you
yeah,
know yourself. That's the
yeah,
thing.
right,
You
but
gotta know yourself.
right, and that's why the subject age pressures is so prevalent, is because you're only going to compare people who are in your age realm. So
Hmm.
yeah,
somebody who's 50 years old who's driving a Bugatti or a BMW, I really don't give a shit because I feel like I got
hmm
20 years, to catch up to that.
that makes
So
sense.
social
Yeah.
media plays a huge, huge role because we see people our age or even people who are younger than us, or 22, 23, and they're having kids and they're millionaires. And it's like, yo, and it's crazy because I don't know if you guys watched the documentary on Netflix, The Social Dilemma. It really, really goes into depth about how the suicide rate for women and men has increased immensely from for kids as teenagers who are committing
Yep.
suicide because they see what this person has at their age, so it makes them feel like they should have it too as well, even if it's not real, even if it's fiction. So it's so crazy how society is really, I would say, the main factor that
Mm-hmm.
plays the roles on whether you feel like you have to have this. And our family members can too as well, like you, Dorian, like your parents and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But social media plays a huge role because we wouldn't care somebody doing something, older than us. And I think the only reason it bothers us when they're younger than us, because then it makes us feel like, well, shit, what was we doing at that age? Like we're
Yeah.
behind. We're behind because this 23-year-old is getting $5 million and I'm not even a millionaire yet. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
even the ones that are younger than you, I think it makes you even feel worse for the ones
Yeah.
who are younger than you because it makes you feel like they're already ahead of you in so many, steps that you want to create in your mind. But yeah, it's deep.
It's real
So
deep.
Dorian, specifically, I want to know like because everyone's age pressures are different. What are your personal age pressures? Like what do you feel like is something that you're really thinking about since you are turning 30?
Okay. Well, yeah. Just for the fact that I'm turning 30, I am a woman. The pressures of having kids is a big one. That brings a
Mhm.
lot of anxiety. Not having
Mhm.
that, like, and it's not for real. For real, I'm not even there yet. So I'm like, okay, like, vice versa. My mom at that age, I'm not there. So like, I
Mhm.
feel like that
It
comes
was
with a lot
different
of age
times though
pressure.
too.
Different
Different
times, different
times.
times. Career path. I took a big
Mhm.
leap. I worked in education for the past 5 years. And I recently just took a leap of like, okay, I decided, hey, I don't really want to do that anymore. Like the fact I really love kids. I love working with kids. I love
Mhm.
helping further their education. Love that. Like you don't see a lot of black women in education. So it's like, damn, it was hard to take a
Right,
step
right.
back from that. But it's like, okay, COVID hit. Kids not in school. I don't have a choice now. Got to switch it up. Got to switch that hustle up.
Right, right,
So
right.
just figuring out like what I want to do because I'm really crafty. I'm really good at a lot of different things that make me feel good. So just feeling the
Mhm.
pressure of like, okay, I love to do this. I love to like make jewelry. I love to do art. I love photography. But is that going to make me money? Is that going
Right.
to help me
Yeah.
sustain? Is that going to help me like clear my like my student loan debt? Like all of those little debts and all that just stuff from like the past 7 years. The fact that I'm about
Mhm.
to turn 30 is like catching up to me now. Like, damn, what was I not doing at this age to where it kind of could have made a difference now? And now, like,
Right.
it kind of comes with like, okay, I'm aware of my potential. I'm aware of that fully and
Mhm.
all the possibilities, and I have free range to do whatever with that. But with that, there's a conflict that comes with motivation and that anxiety.
Mhm.
Motivation
Mhm.
and that anxiety. That's what I'm
Mhm.
battling. That's my pressure right now. And it's like, when I was younger, I was always like, I've had a job since I was 15. And I've always like, when I was that age, it's like, oh yeah, you working hard, are you doing this? From like 15 to like 17. Everybody's like, yeah, like you're way beyond your years. You're way beyond that.
Mhm.
So that
Mhm.
pressure, I've been feeling that pressure since I was younger because it's like I've always been an
Right.
overachiever. So
Mhm.
now that I'm getting ready to turn 30, everybody's like, okay, well now like what you doing? What are you doing? Like I said, a lot of that comes from like my parents, like they love me. They've always supported me. They've never been like, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. But like organically, my dad will just hit me with like, that parent conversation, like, so what you doing? Like, so how are you
Mhm.
making money? So how was that pension? I got 5 pensions. I'm like, oh shit, I'm like a pension? What the fuck? What are you talking about? Like, I don't even have money yet. So just like little hints and whatnot, just I hear them in my ear consistently, and it's good. It's great motivation, but like that, what comes natural anxiety with turning 30, where I'm feeling like, damn, like I could have went a little bit harder, but it's like it's cool. I still have a lot of time. So like with
Right.
that, I'm not really feeling too crazy pressure. Like I don't want to use pressure as a word, but it's like I don't even want to say fear because sometimes with fear and pressure, that makes you go harder. That
Right.
really makes me
Yep.
go harder. That
Well,
that
what
that gives me fuel.
right. What's giving you, because you said the anxiety and the motivation. So, what do you think that you are channeling every day to have a reminder of yourself to keep a balance between that motivation and that anxiety? Because those are definitely, opposites.
Yeah, the blessings that have been bestowed upon me, not to just get, my spiritual side one time, because
Right,
I
right,
am a
right, right.
spiritual person. Like, just all the blessings that I have. I have a roof over
Mhm.
my head. I have a
Right.
vehicle that I can
Mhm.
drive to
Mhm.
go really do these things that I want to go do. I have
Mhm.
money in my bank account to really
Right.
do what I need to do and like pay my bills. Like,
Mhm.
I have people that around me that love me. Like these little things that a lot of people
Mhm.
don't have, especially living out of LA. Like,
Right.
I don't know if you have family out here, but it's like I have a lot of my family here with me, like with that pressure. And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
like I've always hung around. I was always that kid that hung around my older cousins. So it's like I've always been like, okay, well, like you're doing this. let me see how I can do that too and make that work. And like my
Right.
cousins are like, I have one of my main cousins out here. She's a big entrepreneur. Like she has her own spray tanning business. And that motivates me. I'm like, okay, like you're 37 and it's like you really just got this business off the ground maybe like less than like 5-6 years ago. And you did that going into 30. Like you started like a
Right.
whole nother path. She didn't graduate from college. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just little stuff like that. I'm like, okay, you're 37, vice versa. Me, I'm 29, so it's like I have
Right.
time. I'm the people around me that are still like, getting it together, developing, and like really getting their hustle on and really doing what makes them happy and making them money motivates me to do that same thing. And it's like, I got time. Because it's like what I have right now, a lot of them are just now getting. And I'm like, okay,
Right.
you damn near got 10 years on me. So it's
Right.
like,
Well,
there's a
that's
lot more
good.
opportunity. You know what I'm saying? That
The
just
people
the people
around
around
you.
me, the people
Yeah.
around me kind of help me balance that pressure and anxiety for real, for
That's
real.
good that you're not basing it off society, because it sounds like that you're going off like with your family members and them motivating you and just giving you
Mm-hmm.
those words of encouragement that you're already ahead of your time, and that they're just now obtaining the things or accomplishing the things at their age that's a decade older than you. So that's
Yeah.
good that you have the people around you opposed to society, and you're not allowing society to really on social media to make this decision for you, especially being in Los Angeles. I
Yeah.
know a lot of people go there and lose themselves because they try to stay with the trend and what
Yeah, you
everyone
try to
else is
keep up with
doing.
the Joneses, and that ain't always the Joneses.
Yeah.
Really, not the Joneses.
Right.
Like you
There
got to
you
Right.
remember
go.
that. You got to
There you
remember that
go.
it's not always how it looks on the outside.
Right.
There
It's
you
Right.
not
Right.
go.
always how it looks on the outside.
And
So,
one thing I want people to remember too about it is like, because Mariah said something about, oh, she was saying, oh, she's glad that for you it's not just, or it's not social media that's like pushing you, right?
Hmm.
mm-mm.
But what people have to remember also is like family can be just as bad or worse in
Ooh.
society,
Yes.
Yeah, because they
just
really
or
know
bad
you. They
as
really
worse.
know
Because
you.
well,
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 not
no,
with
the
all
thing is,
cases.
They have
yeah,
direct
they know
access to
you,
you too.
Yeah.
they know you, but then this is the thing, which with parents, for example, parents have. I was watching This Is Us last night, right? And
Oh, don't spoil. I haven't seen it yet.
oh,
Now
okay,
I'm just
well,
playing with you. Go
okay,
ahead. What
well,
happened?
I'm not spoiling it, but okay, but and on This Is Us, one of the daughters is a lesbian,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And the mom thought she was accepting, but then her mother made her realize that you may not be as accepting as you think you are, because parents have their own expectations of what they want their
Hmm.
kids to be,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they don't know that those expectations can be good, but also horrible to the kids. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? Because you hear stories about kids who literally kill themselves or in certain things because they feel like they can't live up to what their parents want them to be, or what their friends
Oh
want them to
yeah,
be. You
Yeah.
that
know,
happens all the
all
time.
this stuff. So at the end of the day, I want people to understand it's not just social media. It's a mixture. And then if you're
No,
one of
for
the
sure.
people that are putting pressure on people, because you kind of know sometimes if you're that person, maybe take a step back and ask yourself, wait, how did I feel when I was their age?
Right. Right.
Like,
Right.
like,
Right.
like, do I
Right.
want to do the same thing to
Mm-hmm.
them? You know what I mean? So,
Mm-hmm.
but my last question for you, Dorian, is what are you gonna do to either combat the age pressures or embrace them?
That's a good question.
That's a deep
You
one.
know.
What am I gonna do to combat? Alex, say that one more time. Hold on, let me think
So
about
okay, and
it.
you know what? Okay, no, let me change it up. Not what are you going to do? Are you going to accept the age pressures, or are you going to combat the age pressures? Meaning, are you going to like take them as motivation and say, you know what, let me do this, or are you going to say, you know what, I have time, I'm the age that I am, and I'm going to just go with the flow?
A little bit of both. Take that on as a challenge. Like, okay, like you really say that I can't do that at this age? It's too late. No, I'm gonna prove to you that I can do that. And with that,
Right.
I'm gonna go harder. That gives me
Mm-hmm.
motivation. I'm gonna go with the first one. That gives me
Okay.
motivation because it's like it's all these things, all these obstacles are already up against me, all against
Right.
all of us, and really just it's really
Seriously.
a lot more pressure just being a black in America, black in
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
LA, a woman.
Mhm.
Like we already got all these obstacles set against me, so I can't do nothing but go hard. Like that gives
Right.
me motivation to thrive. Like and COVID really like I hate it. Like COVID was so crazy, man. But it opened up a lot of people's eyes, like to what the possibilities are. Okay, how are you gonna make this
Right.
work? I can't go to work. I
Yeah.
can't work with the kids. So what you gonna do now? What are you gonna do to make money? How you gonna really feed yourself? It's
Right.
like
Right.
that's
COVID
it motive.
definitely, yeah, COVID definitely did that. It's one of those things that I feel like it's people who wanted to be entrepreneur or be a business owner. it was one of those things that it's either in you or you never had it, and COVID was going to bring it out. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Because
for
you had to
sure.
find other ways to make money for so many people who are, private contractors, or even more people who work for businesses. People who work for businesses, not themselves, are hurt even more because businesses had
Hmm.
to shut people out. So yeah, 100%.
Yeah, man. And just, being getting ready to turn 30, I've lost people in my lives and just like,
Hmm.
rest in peace to DMX. Like we just seeing people like fade away and it's
Right.
like, okay,
Legends.
tomorrow's really not promised at the end of the
For
day,
real.
like for any of
Yeah.
us. And it's like we didn't see people get taken out way before their time. So it's just like my whole thing is what's my purpose? Why am I still
Right,
here?
right,
Why
right.
wasn't that
Mm,
me? Why wasn't I there? Like why wasn't that why did I just a whole
Right.
bunch of what ifs that
Mhm,
it could have
mhm,
been really
mhm.
worse. So that's constant motivation in itself right there. Like just
Right,
that tomorrow's not promised. So you got to get up and really do it every day. Even if it's something small, like just getting out there and really getting it done. Like
right,
do it every day. And that'll become like a habit. That'll become routine. And if it
right,
makes you money, even better. That's what I
I
right.
there you
think.
go. I like that. I like
I
that
love
image
that.
she's saying if it makes
Yeah.
you money even better. I like that. Well,
Hmm.
thank you so much for adding to the conversation. You gave some good, nice perspectives. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I
Of
Yes,
appreciate that.
Dorian,
course.
we appreciate that. You're gonna definitely help people out who are even younger or your age to definitely take heed to that, to know to focus on what you have going on and not others, because baby,
100%.
like,
Right. And no, and
time
one last thing, it
keeps
really
moving.
starts with your circle. I promise you, it really
Mhm.
starts with your unit, your community. Like it
Hmm.
starts with the community around you. And it's like sometimes that's not always your family because like you said, everybody don't have that tight knit relationship with their family. So sometimes it comes from like, your friends or like people that you may work with or somebody that you
Hmm.
may know that is really as a motivator in your life. It's not always your family. It's about your community and who's really uplifting you. Like
Yep.
that's big. So that was just one little last thing I wanted to add
No,
to
thank you.
that.
No, no, that's true.
Yes.
I'm so glad you did. Thank you so much.
Of course.
I appreciate. I enjoyed that conversation.
Me
Yes, thank you,
too.
Dorian, so much. We appreciate you
Yes,
for
of
having,
course.
for allowing us to have you to just share your personal experience, because all of our experiences are different with age
For
pressure. So
sure.
thank you so much.
For sure. Thanks for
Thanks,
having me.
Dorian. All right. Have a good day.
All right, peace, y'all. Be blessed.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. All right. So our next guest we have is Imani. Imani's calling in all the way from New York. Imani, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Ooh. Now you know what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about those
Yeah.
good old age pressures. We just spoke to Dorian about age pressures and how she felt about it. So now I want to hear about what you think about it. Um, you know, again, age pressures are what they are. At what point in your life did you feel like you started to actually feel those pressures?
I feel like forever. Honestly, I remember when turned 10, I was afraid of turning 10 because I was like, "Oh my god, double digits, like childhood is almost over." I feel like I always gave myself pressure.
Mm,
I was always hard on myself. But honestly, I feel like it's gotten even more heavy since COVID started, since I've been in the house and all I can do is just think about my life. And I just realized, I'm 28 now. Um, I feel like I have accomplished a lot, but I feel like I didn't really use my early 20s to my full advantage. So I'm kind of upset about myself regarding that. But then it's like, I don't know. When I'm 40, I might be like, oh my God, when you're 28, girl, you were just fine. So I don't know. But life has gotten really real lately, especially. I feel like time is going by faster than
Hmm.
usual. And I'm really uncomfortable, like extremely uncomfortable with that.
Yeah.
mhm.
I don't understand. Everyone's having children now. You know what I mean?
It's
Um,
you're literally second. You're saying so much of what Dorian was just saying too. It's
Hmm.
it's it's so funny how like two people that don't know each other at all, but how like the same things affect people in very similar ways.
Right,
yeah.
we're all so different but so similar, and I think that's what people tend to forget, is that when you set all these expectations for yourself based off what you see from the people around you and the age pressures, you don't really know what's going on in their life because you don't know them personally, such as Imani doesn't know Dorian and Dorian, vice versa, but their story and their experience is so similar. And it's one of those things that we're all so similar but so different. We're all, going through the same things. And just like you said, Imani, with COVID, It gives you time to just really sit and reflect, like, what am I doing with my life? Like, what the hell am I doing? Like, what's going on? So that is a lot of anxiety and uncomfortability. But sometimes when you're in uncomfortable positions, it kind of makes you make moves, just depending on the person. But I definitely can see that. That's heavy.
For
I mean, I
sure. It's
understand.
just
I mean, look, I I'm like, there's so many times where over COVID, well, not necessarily while it's happening, but like, let's say at the beginning, I'm like, okay, I'm at home because I didn't work. I wasn't working for like a couple months, which is as long as I never worked, right? And I was like, what the hell did I do in those months that I was not working? You know what I mean? When I really go back
Mhm.
and look at it, like I could have been, you look, how many songs could I have had? You know what I mean, or whatever.
Right.
Like it's just like it's crazy. Now, Imani, for you, answer this to me. It sounds like you putting the pressure on yourself. Do you feel pressure from like other people?
No, thank God. I don't have that type of family members or anything like that who are like pressuring me to like have kids or whatever too soon. My mom does though, like she really tries to encourage me to go after my dreams
Oh,
more.
good.
And I think that which I'm thankful for, but for some weird reason I'm not doing it. So in that regard, yeah, I'm putting pressure on myself. I think that hurts more when it's you who
Mm.
realizes you more,
Mm-hmm.
honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
that's
that
deep.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's good though because that shows that you set a certain expectation for yourself and you're not basing that off other people. I feel like there's no weight to it when you're trying to set expectations for yourself based off others around you because you really don't know. People show you what they want you to see. So there's,
Mhm.
I would say 90% of people on social media have stuff going on that's not true. That's fiction. So it's good that it's something that you're holding for yourself because that's what makes it real, and makes it something that you can actually change and make adjustments to something that is real, not fiction. So that's
Right,
good that you're keeping it,
right.
for yourself and not others around you. That's amazing.
Do you
Thank
feel
you.
like
Yeah.
social media has affected you at all when it comes to like age pressures, whether it has to do with like what kind of job you should have at this age, or like you was talking about
Mm.
having kids, or what you need to look like? Though I guess what you need to look like and age pressures are is it, can that be
Yeah,
at the same thing? What you look
100%.
like by a certain age?
Yeah, 100%. Like these
Mm.
girls who getting their bodies done and stuff. So
Hmm.
these girls who are 17, 18, who are just now really developing, who are late bloomers, they feel like they got to go get their butt and
Oh,
their
that's
boobs
fair.
done. And
That's
look at Kylie
fair.
Jenner. When was sis getting her lips done? Was she even 16?
Oh,
Like,
that's
so
fair.
it's like, it's one of those things that it definitely, you look at everyone else around you, even people are older, and you see what you want to look like or what you feel is what's considered beautiful. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure. I mean, I am jealous because I feel like Generation Z, is it? I don't know.
Yeah, or right? Yeah, is that the one under us?
Whoever's below us, I feel like they didn't really have to succumb to puberty the way that I
Hmm.
did, which I'm jealous about. So in that regard, yeah. I mean, keeping up with aesthetics is on my mind, but more so, I'm disappointed in myself that I mean, I knew I had a YouTube channel back in like 2006 and I stopped. So I wish I kept that up. I was like more invested in maybe uh social media platforms in regards to like income.
Hmm.
So I think I could have done that too, especially being like, in the arts. So I wish that kind of thing sticks out to me more than anything. And not really age pressures.
Do you think
Hmm.
that sticks out to you though, because people at a young age who did, do things as such that you just mentioned, that they're making a certain amount of income and they're at a certain stature now because they, took that
Yeah,
so that may have something to do with age, in a way, because you feel like you didn't do it at this certain age, so you're at this point in your life now, and if you would have done what you, said you were going to do or you wanted to do, because there's people who are so
right.
young making millions of dollars and it literally
Do
does
you
not
know
make
who
any
the
sense.
Do you know who the top paid YouTuber is?
What, a 5-year-old?
Yeah, it's fucking Ryan. Ryan plays or whatever with toys. He's like yes,
Really?
he is the top paid YouTuber, millions and millions of dollars a year. He
Yeah.
has TV shows now. He has toy lines in Target and everywhere. Like I mean, uh, but I mean, oh, it's a
Wow.
lot. You know, it's a look. I'm over here now thinking, oh, what am I doing with my life? You
Wow.
know, but you know what he might. So I have a question for you. I want to know. It sounds like a lot of your pressures are like what you should have done. Like, do you have any pressures now? Because or are you kind of, because a lot of it sounds like you're like, oh, well, I could have, if I would have done this when I was younger, or if I would have done this when I was younger, I'd
Yeah,
be in a different spot.
I think yeah, that's my issue is that I'm always looking at the past, so I'm never really enjoying the present.
Mm.
So I need to get that in check so I can progress because that's the only way I think I can see I can really succeed more so is if I just stay moment to moment and not think
Hmm.
about what I could have done.
Right, shoulda, coulda,
Yeah.
woulda. That will eat you up alive, girl. You can't do that. It's one of those things that you
No, I
gotta
can't.
you gotta move forward and, I don't know, I'm a huge, huge believer that everything happens for a reason, like, literally, so, whatever that moment you didn't do it, it was for a reason, so don't I think too, as I think we beat ourselves up so much. We are our own worst enemies and our worst critics, and we beat ourselves
100%.
up for, things that we feel that we shoulda, coulda, woulda done, and, like I used to, for example, I used to beat myself up that I didn't handle my business in college right out of high school. I messed around, was just doing stuff I shouldn't have been doing. And it all happened for a reason because, perfect example, Deshaun and I met in college. I would have never met him if I would have done those things that I felt like I should have done. So it just everything happens for a reason. Like it's so true. So don't allow that to, beat yourself up. But that's, I mean, I feel like that's an easier path to accept, supposed to the people who are beating themselves up based off social media and others around them.
Very true.
Yeah. So
It is. I don't know. It's just an interesting thing. I feel like it's an interesting thing that never ends,
right.
in a way, but it just depends on who you are as a person. I think this is what I think. I think one of the problems, um, like one of the biggest problems is that everyone just compares themselves to people too much. And
Mhm.
because there's a difference between, like I was saying earlier, there's a difference between being motivated by something you see and comparing yourself and being jealous of people. Because I,
Mhm.
like me, I do not believe being jealous of anybody. Like, ever. You would never hear me say I'm jealous of anyone, because I'm not. Because to
Mhm.
me, it's like if I see someone doing well, it's like, oh, that's wonderful. Like good for them. Like, oh, I need to get on my stuff, but never in a way where it's like a negative way. But
Mhm.
I feel like the pressures really get to people sometimes, depending on who you are. Some people will take it and some people that take it and talk shit about people.
But it
Okay, and
turns into competition, We're always wanting to compete with each other, and it's, we're mammals, so that's something that's just on our nature to want to compete, especially with women with women. Women never want to do the whole women empowerment to help each other. It's like, well, what can I do better than you? How
but
can
why are
I
you?
succeed?
But it makes no sense. Why are you competing with someone that you don't even know? They don't care about
Right.
you. They don't know you. It makes no.
Mhm.
That's my thing. It's like you're competing with someone who literally doesn't even know you exist.
Right.
So that doesn't make sense. That's why it's like you can use it as motivation, like in a way of like, you know what, like I can be doing more in my life. I should be doing more, but don't use it as
Right.
like, oh, they're not even good. I can be better than them, or I'm gonna beat you. But at the same time, though, I guess if that's what gets you going, and that's what makes you accomplish what you need to accomplish, then I guess, I mean, do what you need to do as long as you're not putting negative energy into the world.
Right. Well, so Imani, you said that you felt the age pressures at a young age, even such as when you were going to turn 10 to double digits. Do you remember what was occurring around you to feel that pressure at such a young age? Because generally at a young age, we don't feel those pressures because, our life is, bees and butterflies. Like we ain't got no bills, no stress, no anxiety. It was amazing times that I would love to go back to. But what occurred where you were like, yo, I'm 10 years old. This is getting real.
I don't know. I just think that I just love my childhood so much. I just think that I was just having such a fun time. I guess like the milestones really just stuck out to me
Mhm.
vividly for whatever reason. I think it's just a social thing, like just how we're brought up,
Right.
what we're supposed to do with our life, when we're supposed to do it. I just think that if none of that happened, if goals, working hard, having a job wasn't even a thought, a concept, I just wonder how would we live our lives. I think,
Right. That's something to think about.
yeah,
That's
I think,
deep.
right? I just feel like our lives are set to be a stressful thing. like a race when really we should just be having like a good time and zen, taking it day by day, whatever we want to
Like I
do.
said,
You
competition.
know?
It's a competition,
Well,
you
well,
know?
well, well, some people are living like that. Some people, and it's funny because some people are living like that, like just going with the wind and living their lives. And those are people that everyone judges. Like, oh, they don't know what they're doing. They don't have their shit together. That's what
Yeah.
people
But they're
say.
disconnected but they're disconnected in some way, whether it be social media, whether it be family members that give them pressure, and I don't know how to
Right. Yes.
and I think you should be able to disconnect. I think it might be a healthy way in some sort, but then you want to be, and with the times,
Mhm. Mhm.
figure out what you want.
No, you're right.
It's just
That's so right. They're disconnected in some way of some sort, but it's a pro and a con. The pro to it is they don't have the anxieties and the pressures that other people have, the daily anxieties and pressures, but they're disconnected with reality to some sort. As in you should take your time in life, but I don't think you could really uh I don't want to say be a hippie spiritually and mentally, but I would say you can't be a hippie physically because that's only going to get you so far.
yeah,
You're going to be in a box if you live in, physically like a hippie. You know what I'm saying? But to be spiritually and mentally, I feel like it's a beautiful thing when you can find the balance to be able to do that in your mind, to keep your mind at peace because the world's already so chaotic with all the different opinions. Like I say that America, and we're in America, is a LLC. We are a business. They have a business to run, and that's why they have all these things, such as that they're asking us to do a COVID, the vaccine, and it's a business, and that's why I feel like it's also surrounded around these age pressures, feeling that we have to do all these certain things by a certain age. Retirement around 60. Like who says why can I work till I'm 90? Like who are you? So it's
Or no, or why
yeah,
can't I retire when I'm 50 or
30.
40?
yeah.
For
Exactly.
real. For
It's
real.
these
I
things
mean,
that
if you
they
do what you
set,
need to do.
these boundaries and these
Mhm.
expectations that whoever set them in America for us. So it's society, it's people around us who've set these boundaries and these guidelines as to how we should live our lives. And I think that's what essentially makes people go crazy, is that we have someone else trying to control our lives, besides ourselves. So
Mm.
Yep, I resonate with that.
Are
mhm.
you doing anything, Imani, to change the feeling you have, or to maybe combat the because it sounds like you're like down on yourself about what you're doing. Are you doing anything to combat it, or are you using it as motivation? What would you say?
I think the best way for me is just to talk about how I feel because there's just so much going on in my
Mm-hmm.
head. So I know I've been to you pretty much all the
Mm-hmm.
time. I'm in therapy, which is
That's
so helpful to
amazing.
talk. Yeah, so those types of things is what I'm doing, trying to get myself together. Because really, I'm making it more than what it is, but
No,
because
don't
the
say
people,
that. Don't say that. Don't say you're making it more than what it is, because it's whatever you feel and whatever you can handle, at that moment in time. Because there may be something that somebody may going through that you feel like is not that serious, Like everybody's struggle is different. And people always try to compare people's like struggles and feel like one thing may be harder than the other. Like you just have to accept your feelings for what it is, and you're taking accountability and initiative, how you are, talking about your emotions and practicing being an empath with your friends and seeing a psychologist. So we were just saying with Dorian is that too, like we're our worst own enemies and our own critics. So don't beat yourself up, for that. You're not making it more than what it is. You're making it what it is for Imani, and that's all that matters.
you're right. You're right.
That's how we go crazy. That's
she
how we
said.
go crazy.
She said, "You're right. You're right." Well, Imani, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your your views on these age pressures that really everyone is going through. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. Any final
Thank you.
words, or are you good to go?
No, this was great to talk about. I mean, I'm happy that we millennials are having these discussions and we all are in the same boat. So this
Yes,
is great.
yes. We're all
Thank
Yes.
we're all on the same path to
Eh,
success, and just,
eh,
a community of just motivating each other that it's okay to feel the way you feel, and it's okay to go at your path and like your journey, your pace. Because I be at the gym, and just because Sally Sue is going 6 miles on a treadmill on an incline of 7 does not mean Mariah is, because guess what? Mariah cannot. So that's how I'm going
you.
on my path, on my treadmill. Our life is our own treadmill.
I like that.
Oh, yes, yes, it
I like
is.
that. That's good. All right. Well, thank you, Imani.
Thank you so
So,
much.
Have a good day.
you too.
Bye. So that was a good conversation. They both had some good points, and I like to hear their different perspectives. So Mariah, what do we think about age pressures after these conversations?
Um, that we're all the same. Like, it's good to know that you're not alone in these age pressures. Just to hear Amani say that she started to feel age pressures, that she was going to double digits, that was so deep for me because I was not thinking about that. I was just like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting a double digit. So to know
Mm-hmm.
that, she was thinking of the pressure at that, young of an age is, it's very deep. So it's good to know that we're not alone, that we're all going through our, different, experiences and our different, situations. It was good to hear how Dorian, her age pressures are mainly surrounded around, her circle and her family. And then also to hear how, Mani's is just, the social aspect and of being around people that you don't know. So it's still the same but different. But that's good to know we're not alone. We're all on our same path of trying to, figure it all out.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, my final word is what I'm going to reiterate. Actually, that doesn't make any sense. My final word. Oh, hey, and I said it again. And I'm not editing this out either. I'm going to keep it real and authentic. What I'm trying to tell you guys is my final thought, I should say. My final thought is, you know what, you guys, whoever's listening to this, you have to live your life for you.
Hmm.
Now, there's a difference between literally being a lazy person who does nothing versus someone who's really trying and just trying to figure it out.
Hmm.
Most of us are trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? Most of us want to do better for ourselves. Most of us want to, achieve something. So don't let what you see out in the world affect you in
Hmm.
a negative way. Take it and look at it differently. Let it motivate you. Don't let it make you feel bad about
Discourage
who you
you.
are and what.
Hmm.
Yeah, no. Let it, use it as motivation, like I'm saying.
Fuel
Don't
to the
ever be jealous
fire.
of anybody. Exactly. Don't ever be jealous of anybody because that doesn't do anything for you. Instead of that, be like, I'm happy for you. And you know what? You motivated me. I want to do something with my life. And that's all I have to say.
Right. You should definitely look at it like I've always looked at it like when I see a certain person, doing something that I just feels incredible and amazing. I like, if you can do it, why can I do it? You know what I mean? Like, it
There
just
you
gives
go.
me like a positive aspect, to be optimistic about the growth of where I'm trying to get. And, like I said to Imani, your life is your own treadmill. Go at your pace because you can't ever go at anybody's pace, at anyone else's pace but your own, because you're your own unique self. So not saying that Dishola and I, aren't going to get off here and say that we still don't, we're not hard on ourselves, but try not to beat yourself up. I feel like if you know that you're giving 110% in everything that you're doing, that's all you can ask for. Nobody else needs to know. You know what you're doing.
That's true. I mean, oh well, I mean, I question my life every single day. I'm not gonna lie. I'm always sitting there. For real, I'm always like, what am I doing in my life? What is my life? That's me. I'm like, I'm not a superstar yet. What's happening? But you know what? It's
Right.
okay. It's okay because we're working on it. And on
Right.
that note, that was our episode Age Pressures. I hope you all enjoyed it. Once again, my name is Deshola.
Once again, I'm right.
And also, you guys make sure to go check us out on Instagram, okay? At
Yes.
Moments Pod, all right? MOMENTSPOD. Okay, you can also check my own Instagram out too, DAYSHOLA_B.
I said I'm Call Me Rye, CALLMERYY. Thank you so much, y'all.
See you next time.